The great galactic throne hall stood in complete silence. It was older than most stars. Its walls were made of dark stone mixed with glowing alien metal. Tall pillars rose high into the shadows above, carved with symbols of long-dead empires. Alien rulers from hundreds of species stood in perfect lines across the hall. Some were tall and thin. Some were massive and armored. Some had glowing eyes, scales, or wings. None of them spoke. Armed guards lined the walls from end to end. Their weapons were active, glowing softly with deadly energy. They did not move. They did not blink. The air itself felt heavy, as if the hall was watching everyone inside it. Humans were present too, but only as workers. They stood far from the throne. They wore simple uniforms. They carried tools, tablets, and cleaning devices. They were translators, cleaners, assistants. Nothing more. Humans were reminded of the rules every single day. Never speak unless ordered. Never look at royalty. Never comment on the queen. Breaking even one rule meant death. Among the humans stood one man. He was not important. He was not special. He was average. His hair was slightly messy. His uniform was worn from years of work. His shoulders were tired. He had worked in the throne hall for many years. No one knew his name. No one cared. To the aliens, he was invisible. The man kept his head down, just like always. He focused on his breathing. He waited for the ceremony to end. Then the lights in the hall dimmed. A low sound filled the air. The throne platform began to glow. Above it, a massive hologram formed. The alien queen appeared. She was tall and elegant. Her skin shimmered like polished crystal. Soft blue light moved beneath it like flowing stars. Her eyes were calm, cold, ancient. She had ruled for centuries. She commanded fleets that darkened skies. She erased worlds with a single order. Entire species feared her mood. The alien rulers bowed deeply. Even the guards lowered their heads. The human man did not mean to look, but something pulled his eyes upward. Just for 1 second, he saw her face, saw the balance of power and grace, the quiet strength in her eyes, strange beauty no one ever spoke of. He forgot where he was, forgot the rules, forgot himself, without thinking, without fear, without meaning any harm, whispered quietly. "The queen is beautiful." The words were soft, barely louder than a breath, but the throne hall was designed to hear everything. The sound traveled. Silence crashed down like a weapon. The glowing lights froze. Machines stopped humming. The air itself seemed to stop moving. Guards stiffened. Alien nobles turned their heads slowly toward the human section. Shock spread across faces that rarely showed emotion. Human had spoken. The human realized what he had done. His heart slammed against his chest. His mouth went dry. The floor felt cold beneath his feet. He wanted to disappear. Then he felt it. A change in the air. Something powerful, something close. A presence behind him. He did not turn around. He was afraid to breathe. Then a voice spoke. It was calm, controlled, cold. It came from directly behind him. Human. The word echoed across the hall. Every guard raised their weapon. Every noble froze. Repeat what you just said. The human's blood turned cold. He knew that voice. Everyone in the galaxy knew that voice. The alien queen was not a hologram anymore. She was standing right behind him, and she had heard everything. The human did not move. He stood frozen in place, his hands shaking at his sides. He could feel her presence behind him, heavy and powerful, like gravity itself. Slowly, he lowered his head. He knew the rules. Humans were not allowed to speak unless ordered. Humans were not allowed to comment on royalty. Humans were not allowed to judge the queen in any way. He had broken all the rules with one whisper. The alien queen stepped closer. Her footsteps made no sound, yet every being in the hall felt them. The guards tightened their grip on their weapons. Some alien nobles leaned back in fear. Others watched with cold interest, waiting to see how the human would die. The queen spoke again, her voice calm but sharp. "Human," she said. "Lift your head," the human hesitated. His body screamed at him to stay still, but he obeyed. Slowly, he raised his head. He did not look into her eyes. He stared at the floor between them. The queen studied him. She expected fear, begging, lies. But she saw none of those. The human was afraid. Yes. But there was something else too. Honesty. You spoke words, the queen said, walking around him slowly. Words no one has dared to speak in centuries. She stopped in front of him. Why? The human swallowed. His voice came out weak, but clear. I didn't mean disrespect, Your Majesty, he said. I didn't know you were behind me. A low sound moved through the hall. Some nobles laughed quietly. Others hissed in anger. The queen raised one finger. Silence returned instantly. She looked down at the human. That does not answer my question, she said. Why did you say it? The human's hands clenched into fists. He knew there was no escape now, so he chose the truth. Saw your face, he said softly. Not as a ruler, not as a weapon. The queen's eyes narrowed. And what did you see? She asked. The human took a breath. I saw someone who carries the weight of the galaxy alone, he said. Someone strong enough to rule and still stand. The hall shook with shock. No one had ever spoken to the queen like this. The guards waited for the order to fire. The queen said nothing. She circled the human again, slow and silent. You are aware, she said, that your words could end your species? Yes, the human replied. And yet you spoke, she said. Yes. Why? The human looked up for the first time, not into her eyes, but close enough. Wait. Because humans notice things others forget, he said. We see the person before the power. A dangerous silence followed. Alien nobles whispered angrily. This human insults you. He weakens your image. He must be punished. The queen raised her hand again. Silence returned. She stared at the human for a long moment. Then something impossible happened. The corner of her lips moved. It was small, barely visible. But it was a smile. The hall froze. You may live, the queen said. Gasps filled the chamber. The human nearly collapsed in shock. But she continued, You will remain. The nobles panicked. Remain? The queen turned to them. Leave us, she commanded. Your Majesty, one noble began, she said. One by one the rulers backed away. The guards lowered their weapons but did not leave. The queen turned back to the human. For centuries, she said quietly, beings have feared me. She leaned closer. Not one has seen me. Her voice dropped. Till you. The human felt the weight of her gaze. You will answer more questions, she said. You will speak honestly. She paused. And you will not be punished. Yet, the human realized something terrifying. This was not mercy. This was interest. And in the galaxy, nothing was more dangerous than a queen who had become curious. The throne hall was no longer full. Alien rulers had left. Their footsteps faded into the distance. Only guards remained, standing far away like silent statues. At the center of the hall stood two figures, the alien queen and one human worker. The human felt very small. The queen walked toward the throne but did not sit. Instead, she stood beside it, looking out across the empty hall. For centuries, she said, her voice calm, this hall has echoed with fear. She turned slowly to face the human again. Fear keeps empires strong, she continued. But fear also makes them hollow. The human listened carefully. He did not interrupt, did not move. The queen studied him again. Tell me something human, she said, when you spoke those words. Did you hope to gain something? The human shook his head. No, Your Majesty, he replied. I expected to die. Somewhere far away a guard shifted slightly. The queen raised an eyebrow. You accepted death so easily? She asked. The human answered honestly. I have lived quietly for many years, he said. I clean floors, others walk on. I translate words others ignore. He paused. If my life ended for speaking the truth once, then it was enough. The queen did not respond immediately. She walked closer again. You are not afraid of me, she said. I am afraid, the human replied. But fear is not the only thing I feel. What else do you feel? The queen asked. The human hesitated. Then he spoke. Sadness. The guard stiffened. The queen's eyes sharpened. Explain, she said. The human chose his words carefully. I saw a queen who stands above all beings, he said. But I also saw someone who stands alone. The hall felt colder. You believe I am lonely? the queen asked. The human nodded slowly. Power creates distance, he said. The higher one stands, the fewer voices reach them. The queen looked away. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she asked a question no one expected. Do humans fear silence? She asked. The human was surprised. Yes, he said. Silence means no one hears you. The queen looked back at him. For me, she said softly, silence is all I have ever known. The human understood. The queen had never needed advisors, never needed friends, never needed comfort, 'cause needing meant weakness. You called me beautiful, the queen said. You know why no one else ever has? The human shook his head. 'Cause beauty invites closeness, she said. And closeness invites pain. The human felt a strange heaviness in his chest. The queen walked past him, stopping only a few steps away. I rule by command, she said. I protect this empire by fear. She turned. But fear cannot see what is breaking. The queen looked directly at him now. You will tell me what you see, she said. The human froze. Me? He asked. Yes, the queen replied. You see what others do not. She raised her hand. A glowing symbol appeared in the air. It was an ancient mark. Royal authority. With this, she said, you will speak freely in my presence. The guards gasped quietly. Human, given permission to speak. But know this, the queen added. If your words harm this empire, you will not die alone. The human bowed deeply. Understand. The queen studied him one last time. Tell me, she said, her voice low. What do my people truly feel when they look at me? The human swallowed. This answer could save him, or destroy everything. He took a breath. They feel safe, he said. But they do not feel close. The queen closed her eyes. When she opened them, something had changed. Then alarms rang out suddenly across the hall. Red light flooded the chamber. A guard rushed forward. Your Majesty, the guard said urgently. Several high nobles are gathering forces without approval. The queen's calm vanished. She looked at the human. It seems, she said coldly, your words have already started to shake the empire. She turned toward the exit. Come, she commanded. The human followed, not knowing he had just stepped into the center of a coming storm. Red warning lights filled the corridors of the royal complex. The human walked behind the alien queen, his steps quick but controlled. Guards moved around them, speaking in sharp tones through hidden devices. The calm of the throne hall was gone. Something was breaking. The queen moved with purpose. Her face showed no fear, but her eyes were cold and focused. The high nobles have no right to gather forces, she said. They act without my command. The human listened quietly. He could feel the tension growing with every step. They entered a wide observation chamber overlooking the capital world. Massive windows revealed glowing cities far below. The queen stopped. She turned to the human. You spoke truth, she said. Truth has consequences. Before the human could reply, a hologram appeared in the air. Several powerful alien nobles filled the image. Their faces were angry, their voices sharp. Your Majesty, one noble said, bowing slightly, your recent behavior has concerned the council. The queen's eyes narrowed. Explain, she said. Another noble stepped forward. You dismissed fear, he said. You dismissed tradition. He pointed toward the human. And you allowed a human to stand beside you. Murmurs spread across the hologram. The human felt their eyes on him. This human weakens your image, a noble said. He makes you appear soft. The queen remained silent. The nobles mistook silence for doubt. You rule an empire built on strength, another noble continued. Fear keeps order. Fear keeps peace. The queen finally spoke. Fear keeps obedience, she said. Not loyalty. The nobles reacted with anger. This is dangerous thinking, one said. The people will test you. They already are, the queen replied. The hologram flickered. We demand the human's removal, a noble said. Or we will act. The human felt his chest tighten. He understood now. This was not concern. This was a threat. The queen stared at the nobles. Act, she said coldly, and reveal yourselves as traitors. The hologram vanished. Silence returned. The guards shifted nervously. The human looked at the queen. "They are afraid," he said quietly. "Yes," the queen replied. "Because fear no longer flows only from me." She turned toward him. "You changed something," she said. "Whether you meant to or not." The human bowed. "I only spoke what I saw." Suddenly, the lights flickered again. A deep vibration shook the chamber. Alarms blared louder. A guard rushed in. "Your Majesty," the guard said urgently. "Several fleets have moved from their stations." The queen clenched her jaw. "They are forcing my hand," she said. She walked to the window, looking down at the world she ruled. "For centuries," she said, "I have protected this empire through fear." She turned back to the human. "But fear has created monsters who believe they can rule me." The human felt the weight of the moment. "What will you do?" he asked carefully. The queen studied him. "I will test something new," she said. She activated a communicator. "Citizens of the empire," her voice echoed, "hear me." Her image spread across cities, ships, and stations. "For generations," she continued, "I have ruled from above." She paused. "Today I will stand among you." The nobles panicked. The guards exchanged shocked looks. The human's eyes widened. The queen looked at him. "You will stand with me," she said. "Me?" the human asked. "Yes," she replied. "You remind them that strength can speak softly." Before he could respond, the chamber doors burst open. Armed guards rushed in, but these were not royal guards. Their armor bore noble markings, weapons locked onto the queen. The human stepped forward without thinking. He stood between the weapons and the queen. The guards hesitated. "A human?" one of them said in disbelief. The queen's voice dropped to ice. "Lower your weapons," she commanded. Some obeyed. Others did not. "This is treason," she said. The human spoke loudly. "She trusted you," he said, "and you chose fear over loyalty." The guards froze. They had expected anger. They had not expected truth. In that moment, the human realized something. This empire was not held together by power. It was held together by belief. Belief was beginning to change. The weapons did not lower. Several guards hesitated, their hands shaking. Others tightened their grip, fingers resting on the triggers. The human stood still. He felt fear crawl up his spine. He knew one shot could end his life, but he did not move. Behind him, the alien queen watched quietly. The lead guard stepped forward. "This human has no authority," the guard said. "He does not belong here." The human spoke before the queen could answer. "I belong wherever truth is needed," he said. The guards laughed. "A human speaks of truth," one said. "You are weak. You are nothing." The human nodded slowly. "Yes," he said. "I am weak." That answer surprised them, but the human continued. "Weak beings notice things strong ones ignore." The guard shifted. The queen stepped closer, standing directly behind him. "You threaten your queen?" she said coldly. "You point weapons at the one who protects you?" The lead guard hesitated. "We serve the high nobles now," he said. "They promise order." The queen's voice hardened. "They promise fear," she replied. The human turned slightly. "Fear does not last," he said. "Respect does." A deep silence filled the chamber. Then suddenly, the lights cut out. Darkness swallowed the room. Emergency lights flashed on. Explosions echoed far away. The coup had begun. The queen reacted instantly. "Shields up," she commanded. The guards panicked. Some turned their weapons toward the exits. Others looked uncertain, unsure who to follow. The human felt the ground shake. "This is your moment," he said quietly to the guards. "You choose who you are." One guard lowered his weapon, and another, then several more. The lead guard shouted, "Fire!" No one did. The queen raised her hand. Energy surged through the air. The traitors were disarmed in seconds, thrown to the ground by invisible force. The chamber fell silent again. The queen looked down at the fallen guards. "Take them," she ordered. "They will face judgment." As the loyal guards moved in, the human felt his legs weaken. The danger was not over. A loud alarm sounded again. A new voice echoed through the halls. "Attention all forces," the voice said. "The High Council has declared emergency control." The queen closed her eyes. "They are spreading fear," she said. She turned to the human. "They believe you made me weak." The human shook his head. No, he said. They are afraid because you changed. The queen studied him. For the first time, she said, they do not know what I will do. She activated the main broadcast. Her image spread across the empire. Citizens stopped. Soldiers froze. Ships paused mid-flight. My people, the queen said. You are told that I have grown weak. She gestured to the human standing beside her. They point to this human and say, he corrupted me. The human felt millions of eyes on him. I tell you the truth, the queen continued. This human reminded me why I rule. She stepped closer to the camera. Strength is not silence, she said. Strength is knowing when to listen. Gasps echoed across the empire. The high nobles interrupted the broadcast. Lies, one shouted. She has been manipulated. The human stepped forward. He spoke loudly. I am not powerful, he said. I have no weapon, no rank. He paused. But I stood where no one else would. The queen looked at him. You stood for me, she said. No, he replied. Stood for the empire. The high noble's image vanished. Broadcast returned to the queen. Those who choose fear, she said, will fall with it. The signal ended. Silence followed. The queen exhaled slowly. She turned to the human. You placed yourself between me and death, she said. The human shrugged lightly. It felt right. The queen's expression softened. Tomorrow, she said, the empire will decide what kind of future it wants. She looked at the stars outside the window. And you, she added, will stand beside me when it does. The human realized something then. He was no longer invisible, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The empire did not sleep that night. Across thousands of worlds, citizens watched the sky. Ships stayed in place. Weapons stayed silent. For the first time in centuries, fear was not giving orders. Morning came slowly over the capital world. The alien queen stood on a high platform overlooking the city. No throne, no guards in front of her, only open space. Beside her stood the human. He wore the same simple uniform, no armor, no symbol of power, yet millions were watching him. The high nobles were brought forward in chains. Their rebellion had failed. Their fleets had stood down when soldiers refused to fight. Fear had lost its grip. The queen spoke. My empire was built on fear, she said calmly, and fear kept it alive. She looked over the crowd. But fear also taught you to obey, not to believe. Murmurs spread. The queen raised her hand. This human, she said, gesturing to him, spoke one honest sentence. The human felt his chest tighten. He did not challenge me, the queen continued. He did not threaten me. She paused. He saw me. Silence followed. For centuries, the queen said, no one dared to look past my power. She turned toward the human. He reminded me that ruling is not standing above others. She faced the crowd again. It is standing with them. The high nobles shouted in anger. This is weakness, one cried. You will lose control. The queen's eyes hardened. No, she said. I will lose fear. With one command, the high nobles were taken away. Not executed, judged. That alone shocked the galaxy. Later that day, something unheard of happened. The queen walked among the people, not surrounded by weapons, not behind shields. Citizens stepped back at first, then slowly. They stayed. They looked at her, not with terror, with curiosity. The human walked beside her quietly. At one point, the queen stopped. She looked down at him. You risked everything, she said. Why? The human thought for a moment. Because, he said, someone had to say it. The queen nodded. In the weeks that followed, change spread. Humans were no longer only workers. They were invited to speak, to advise, to observe, not because they were strong, but because they noticed. Other species began to do the same. The empire did not fall, transformed. Years passed. Children across the galaxy learned a new story. Not of a great war. Not of a terrible weapon, but of a throne hall, of a silent empire, of a tired human worker. They told how he looked up for 1 second, how he spoke without meaning harm, how a queen listened. In the great galactic hall, a small statue was placed, not of the queen, not of a soldier, but of a human standing calmly, hands at his sides, looking upward. The plaque beneath it read, "Truth does not shout." It whispers, "The human never became famous. He never asked for power." He continued to walk quietly beside the queen. Sometimes when the hall was empty, she would ask his opinion, and he would answer honestly. One evening, as stars filled the sky, the queen spoke softly. "You changed my empire," she said. The human shook his head. "No," he replied. "You were ready to hear." The queen looked at the stars. "And humanity?" she asked. The human smiled faintly. "They will be remembered," he said. "Not for fear, but for courage." The queen nodded, and the galaxy remembered that day. The day an empire stopped listening to fear, because one human whispered the truth